Okay, so this is a live stream of Women of Zal, which is a new game that's just come into early access on Steam. I don't normally pick up early access games, but I backed Women of Zal on Kickstarter a couple of years ago when it was first being kind of developed, and so I've been given an early access key as a backer of the Kickstarter, and I thought I would live stream my first interaction with the game. So disclaimers straight off the bat, it is in early access. That means that some features may not be fully implemented, there may be bugs, we may run into issues, so that's, you know, a part of playing an early access game. Second disclaimer, it's a visual novel. I don't believe it has content that would sort of be inappropriate for YouTube, but it is, you know, a game with strong romance elements. I think that there's polyamorous options if you want them, but I don't think it's like, you know, I have a friend who says visual novels are porn games. They're not always, but they certainly often are kind of romance themed, and this one I think has romance certainly as an option in it. And it's a visual novel, so it's, you know, it's a lot of reading and making choices. It is, thank goodness, not a kinetic visual novel, which is a quote-unquote game concept that I do not understand. It's reading a book, but you have to click all the time. I would, you know, like, why not just read a book? Yeah, so those are probably a couple of disclaimers. So as usual, all I've done to date is make sure the game runs and turn off the music. So we will kick it off and see what happens. Welcome to Early Access. Thank you for playing. Oh, you're quite okay. You're quite welcome. Please read the game's about page of the manuscript for information regarding what character routes are currently available. Okay. Additionally, please note the true ending and various bad endings which would normally be available in New Game Plus are not currently available in Early Access. Okay. I'm only going to do about 45 minutes of this, so I don't really expect like endings to matter. So, Xjena. Is your daughter all light, Lady Majuri? I assume you can read these. It's pretty large text, so I won't keep reading everything out. But I also won't click through too quickly, so you've got time to read the conversation between the guard and Lady Majuri. So first things first, I mean, the art's nicely executed. In terms of the character art, the background's fairly simple, but yeah, that's fine. So yes. Inform the Matriarch that Xjena will see her shortly. Okay. So she walks away, leaving me and my mother alone. Every one of those dreams again. Yeah, why not? Sleeping while standing in. It's going to. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. I have a friend who has sleep apnea disorder, and yeah, like when you find yourself falling asleep at times that you really, really shouldn't be falling asleep, like driving a car or standing up, that's not a good thing. I think we're going to know the competition. Not if you keep it to yourself. Trust no one knows your condition. I read fairly quickly, so I'm kind of, you know, waiting a bit longer so that if you're a bit of a slower reader, you've got time to kind of read what people are saying. And because I don't want to read everything out loud, basically. Okay, so I'll do my best, which is, you know, so what's... Yeah. Okay, let's show some independence. Words you will die by... Oh. Feeling the love, Mom. Feeling the love. Okay, so if we prove we're worthy of the inheritance, what you next will be observed by history. Okay. So, make the people of our home island proud. Okay, so let's have a look. So we got, this is us. We've got stats, wisdom, confidence, kindness, pragmatism, inquisitiveness, ruthlessness. We've got a Zala level, I don't know what that is, and an energy level. I wonder if we'll be able to play dress up. So we've got dream drop, record a dream, fast save, back skip the past, settings, which is where all your settings are. So this is about, so after the continuation, political visual novel, it's missing the following: the true ending, the bad ending, alternate character route, or character routes for Axay, Velvet, Liz, and Matriarch, alternate outfits, date days, most library books, sound effects, various cutscenes. And it's made with RenP, which is a common development tool for visual novels. Okay. Count on it. I can't promise. Count on it. We're gonna do great, Mom. And it's time for you to meet the Matriarch Xjena Zavont of Zanaska. They like their X's. Xena Zala, her life energy will influence the direction of her story. Each choice she makes may not always impact her smaller decisions. During such times, personality, stage, dialogue, choices, and other actions from prior events will determine what she can or cannot do next. So many options may become unavailable. Decisions affecting major events and story will remain open for the character to choose regardless of your stats. So we can't hug my mother because I'm too ruthless, but we can. So that's probably because we reacted to her rather than being lovey-dovey earlier. So yeah. Guards waiting for us. Are you ready to rumble? Sure. So I like that there's been, even, at this early stage, there's been a couple of choices to make about how you present yourself. I don't know if they are driving stats yet. But they're obviously already influencing decisions in some way, so I like that. One of my big complaints about a lot of visual novels is you spend a lot of time just clicking through text, waiting for a handful of choices. I played one where you were like, it was like the Drunken Griffin Inn or something, and yeah, there were only about 3 or 4 choices in the game. We've already kind of at least had the choice of creating a character in our head about how Xjena acts, even if those may or may not be impacting much. I don't know. But yeah, I like that there's been some choices already. Yeah, well, let's find out. How do you get back to the lobby so fast? Let's be inquisitive. I'm not going to tell you. Well, fudge. Earthling phrase. Okay, so this is, I guess this is establishing this is a game, this is a science fiction-y game. Earthling phrase. So that's a little bit of world building there, which I quite like. Establishes that this is not just kind of, the whole, this world is not the whole universe kind of thing. It is actually a science fiction-y setting. Yeah, so that's cool. She's not interested in continuing our chat. Well, okay. She hasn't even been given a real name yet, just guard, so I don't know if she's important in terms of the plot. Ready to close the doors. Lady Xjena Savant is inside. Wonder if the similarities to Savant there. I mean, I'm sure the X is deliberate, but I wonder if the similarity to the word Savant is intended. Probably. In we go. So, did you accept the invitation to become apprentice of your own accord? Yes. It'll be your own ambition that gets you through these next 3 months, especially if you plan to earn my seat. Walk away from my title. I expect my life to sustain, if not elevate what I leave behind. So we're being... It's a job interview, basically. And we're going to have 5 other apprentices that we're going to compete against. And we've got 6 months to pursue this goal. And I guess, I mean, at the moment, the best ending is not available yet. The bad ending is not available yet. So there's a limited ways that this can actually work out right now because we are in early access. But as I said, I'm not anticipating we're going to get anywhere near the actual end of the game today. No schedule for you to adhere to while you stay here. I'm not going to hold your hand. Okay? Do what you want, basically. And continue pursuing your own agenda. You've got free use of all the facilities, basically. Don't harass the staff, waste their time. But you may speak with them if you feel their insight will be useful. Okay. But you may be given... I may give you tasks and you need to do them properly. Yeah, fair enough. When I decide the new Matriarch view, she will be the most qualified. Understand, child. So saw there was a timer on that decision, unlike the others, so you had to actually make a choice fairly quickly. I mean, they were both functionally the same, but it's whether, I guess, you actually speak as opposed to just nodding. I chose to actually speak. So now we know the guard's name. She's Liz. She'll guide us to our quarters. Belongings will be sent to our room as soon as they're cleared for delivery. Get out. But, politely, I guess. Several minutes for the guard Liz to lead you to your room, so emphasising that this is Liz, which is useful. Use the time to process what you were just told. How to make sure what to expect. Is never going to make a competition for the title some gaudy public spectacle, but somehow they seem unusually cryptic even for her. Yes, and you need to prove yourself, but she's not told you what criteria she's using. So, if that was an actual workplace and an actual kind of job interview process, that is a terrible way of doing things. In the real world, you really, really do want your employer to be quite clear about what they're expecting of you, because otherwise, how do you know if you're doing the job that they want? And you want regular feedback. I suspect we're not going to get either of those here, but that's because this is a game, and to a certain extent, the game probably wants to let you do what you want to do, rather than telling you, what I am looking for in a successor is these characteristics. You need to show your ability to do that. The game is leaving it open so that you can define your Xjena and replay the game multiple times if you want to, playing one who's really horrible and one who's really nice and all the rest of it. So, yeah, it's a game. That's cool. It's giving you freedom, which is good. Is she looking for something else altogether? Further investigation is in order. Okay. Get to our room. It's not too far from the lobby. And it's collected to the hall leading to her office. So here we are. Yeah, I've got some questions. Let's leap straight into the romance. With, you know, I like this beautiful stoic woman thing you've got going on here. I want to grab a meal, so yeah. Let's learn a bit about her. Is she so to the point? She isn't one for games. Sorry, I'm clicking a bit fast there. Maybe if you were trying to read it. Yes. Yeah. No. I'm not gonna. I have to tell her what I tell you. But yes, she isn't one for games. Okay, and then she leaves. Fine. Cool. We get sleepy. No, explore the castle. We're not going to get into dreams yet. So yeah, so our sleep brings visions, and for us, too many of them have a habit of coming true. Oh. So let's go back to the lobby. From there, we can go almost anywhere. Okay. I wonder if these will be voiced in the future in some way. That's a lot of hair. I think it's interesting that, I mean, like, the characters are recognisably the same characters in the cutscenes as in the main game, but the art style is somewhat different, which is interesting. I don't know that I 100% like it, but, you know, it's fine, I guess. How did your meeting go? I hear she's quite the character. I'm sorry, who are you? I suspect it went exactly how yours will go. Is probably the truth. That's to be expected. Anyone with as many deaths under her belt as Xjena has. Oh, that's nice to know. So she has many deaths under her belt, apparently. How many deaths are we talking? A unique way she can allegedly summon a blade and slit a throat. At least a few dozen. She must have countless enemies. Oh, that's nice to know. Why do we want this job? After... So are you going with someone with countless enemies? Right, I'm going to try not to kill people. If her enemies are still breathing, she's doing it wrong. Yeah, let's ask her. Are you going to be someone with countless enemies? Unbothered by our inquiry. She climbed away. The ladies in a climbed away to the top. I don't have to. I like to think women like me are too clever for needless enemies. That's a sensible. Yeah. I mean, you know, not making enemies you don't need to is a sensible thing. Thinking you're too clever to make needless enemies may be pride. And there you go. High opinion of yourself. And a guard arrived to guide her to Lady Xjena. She's not somebody to be underestimated. You're free to continue exploring, though with your desire for sleep continue to grow. We'll do one more. Interesting doors and passageways closed off. Found yourself thwarted by locks and other female guards. You're not going to see the Western Hall now. But then we spotted an unguarded hall with two large doors at the end of it. Turned left to see what was hiding behind the doors. Well, as anyone who has played a Lone Wolf gamebook knows, turning left is always the right decision. Oh, typo there. Hopefully these all get caught at some point and fixed. It's the first one I've noticed. Out to a path led to a gateway in front of the entrance to the castle garden. Speaking to another woman in a non-benevolent manner. It's a somewhat circuitous way of saying it, but okay. I like the way that the person who isn't talking kind of gets greyed out, so you know this is the guard, this is Naxia. not allowed in, I won't tell you off, so go away. See, my poor luck knows no end. Saw that, did you? So we introduce ourselves. She's a private investigator. So what was that all about? Okay, so she's here. She's another competitor for the title of Matriarch. Fair enough. I've actually had my eyes set on investigating that garden for weeks now. Okay. Bit frustrating being blocked out like this. And what are you looking for? So where's she from? Pretty far away. Huh, very cagey of her. I'd like to share the information with you later, away from here, so it could possibly pose a harm. Well, that's all very clandestine, isn't it? See you later then. You will. That's over at the woman guarding the gate. Didn't seem to know or care about your discussion. Okay, yep. So now it's forcing us to go to bed, so you can actually only kind of explore twice. You can't do all 3 explorations before it forces you to go to bed. Far, you know, right, frustrated you need to rest so soon. It'd be far worse for someone else to see your vulnerability. Okie dokie. Your feet carried you back to the bedroom by instinct alone. Since you fell into your new bed, you fell asleep. You didn't even bother changing clothes. Okay, fair enough. Dream time, I'm thinking. So we're in front of a church, which feels familiar. I don't know if it's intended that this background sort of looks like the whole place is on fire or not, but it does. I like the fact that each time I'm clicking at the moment it's creating the church bell. That's amusing. Pretty creepy gargoyles on the edges there. Signature of the church, her arm stretched over the pew she rested on. So one thing you may have noticed, obviously, already is it's a non-white game. All the characters, well, pretty much all the characters so far. Arguably that one guard in the near the garden was different, but the characters are not white, not Caucasian, which is, though somewhat Caucasian in features, a lot of them. So it's sort of a more North African than Southern African kind of facial features, I guess. Yeah, I like that. I like that it's not a kind of standard European visual design. So, question marks has been waiting for us. I know you, even though I don't know your name. Call me Mara. The Mara is a villain from Doctor Who. Classic Doctor Who. It hasn't been in New Who yet that I know of. How do we know each other? Patted the spot left of her 3 times. You're going to want to sit down for this. Okay. Well, let's take her up on her offer. Our dreams often come true. Let's find out what's going on. So, waited for her to sit down next to her, but kept her fixated on the pulpit. Church is in Zal. What? Just amused that we gave such a small group of fools actual buildings to indulge their fever dreams. Well, that's quite a strong opinion, isn't it? Are you rude towards Earth's religions as well? What's it to you? What I did that little gift to your little... What I did to your little gift should be what occupies that little head of yours. Huh? I know you can create memories like simulations to give you an edge over the others, or at least until now. From this point on, you won't be able to easily translate what your Xala experiences when it calculates future scenarios for you. You now hold very little advantage over the average Zulian. Have your Xala try and rewind time in your head to the beginning of this conversation to change your projected outcome. I promise I'm one step ahead of you. Why should I believe you? I'm not human, I therefore cannot lie, and I can assure you I'm far from mad. Okay, I'm not sure why not being human means you can't lie. Just behave and you'll find very little to worry about. If you discover a loophole, no, I have no choice but to cut you down. Will flash around you when your eyes were focused, Mara was gone. No. You may have magic powers, lady, but I have save games. So I think my powers are stronger than yours, because I can save the game and then try multiple different options till I like one. But, I mean, the whole point of visual novels is to try things and see what happens, so I'm kind of cool with just going straight ahead. Felt like our usual self, so I'd best get up and move forward. And we've got a woman waiting for us. Were you just waiting out here all this time? I wasn't gonna, but then my thoughts wandered. Name's Axe, heard yours was Xena. I wasn't here that long. Do you need something? Just here to tell you what happened while you were asleep. Some of us overheard that guard talking to her subordinates. Most of the academic and government buildings were mid-century while were considered apprentice matriarchs. It's very generous of you to share that, isn't it? But why were the guards talking about that in the first place? Girl, you know I ain't going to know that off the top of my head. Now we're all on the same page, so I'll see you later. I appreciate you telling me this. Yeah, seems reasonable of you. And she walks away. Time to depart as well. Rest of the cycle still reigned, but not much had been revealed on what action to take and how. All there was to do was explore and find out. Explore the castle more. Overwhelming number of rooms to discover, so you turn back to explore it some more. No idea where you would go from here. Two large doors, open wide and inviting, reveal the next notable room. It's a library. Woman who wasted no time eyeing you as you came in. Ah, it's Mara. Surprised to find that I'm quite real. What are you doing? Keeping tabs? Your Xala not telling you? You looked around to make sure no one else was there. You don't have to do all this, so I can still get a sense of what my Xala wants. I prefer you having more limited options like the rest of the world. Why do you care? I thought it made it clear I wasn't going to answer most of your questions. Just behave yourself and I'll be but a distant memory. You know, if you want somebody to do what you want them to do, being a jerk is not actually the way to get it, Mara. Just saying. Find a book to read. I'm not interested in. Most of her books are based on the art of fighting, murder, and law. You felt that what you read helped you understand fighting a little better. Oh, well, that's handy, I guess. Sorry to disturb you, Lady Xjena. I was about to leave. What is it? I want you to join Lady Velvet in delivering a letter to Matriarch Vina. She's only a few hours away from Zanaska. Yeah, best get to it. We're taking airship or Dragon. Or Dragoon airship. I want you to personally tame a beast of your own before she considers travel by wings. So a little bit more world building there. Done through the lens of the characters knowing exactly what they're talking about, but telling you enough that you get the context, which is kind of cool. It's like, you know, it's well judged development, which is good. Velvet was waiting there. She Trove to twist a small motion with her hand. Light blue hieroglyphic appeared on the ground. She stepped onto it, vanishing moments later. In the airship lobby, we still haven't seen a picture of Velvet. She walked towards one of the nearest chairs. She saw Velvet take a letter. Ah, there we are. And here's the letter. Let's go meet this Xjena. Any ideas? Okay, so we can be like, I don't know, maybe you should open the letter, which, you know, it's not a letter to us, so it seems inappropriate. Curious the letter, maybe we should ask Lady Xjena about it once we return, and you thought I cared about talking with you, how? Well, third one's out, because I don't see any reason to be a jerk to somebody we just met, even if they're a competitor for a job. I'm curious, maybe we could ask. Afraid not, feel free to open the seal and read the letter for me, though. Yeah, that seems like a really bad idea. It's a flippant kind of remark to make. That's a bit wishy-washy, and that's jerky, so I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, no. Yeah. So you can immediately go into, oh, you're cute when you laugh, which I'm not going to at this stage. We could always ask. I just might. I suppose it depends what kind of person Xjena is like. So if she's not nice, you're going to ask Lady Xjena about her. If she's that bad, I might just have to do something about it then and there. Okay. Yeah, that's my reaction too, actually. You're not going to do anything rash if Xjena is less than stellar, are you? She's thinking about it. Probably. Yeah, so, survival instincts, do you have them? I'm a work in progress. In fact, you're laughing about it, though. We got another person turning up. More thinking. My apologies. Zanime. It's a very boring trip if you're flying alone, so hoping you two don't mind keeping me company for a few minutes. That seems jerky. That seems very jerky. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, can't hurt. Where are you headed? Ramastra, I have a friend waiting for me. Be careful, I think that's Zufo territory. Should I know about them? Dangerous family protection run by a Matriarch. Very liberal about who they kill and why. Yeah, not a very patient family. Some would say they're not very understanding at all. I'm confident I'll be alright. Last name isn't Zufo, is it? Nothing like that. My last name is Liavet. No legacy of note, I'm afraid. That's fine. Family history certainly isn't everything. Would like the name Liavet to mean something to the citizens of Zal in the sometime future? Not sure about that phrase. In the future would be fine. In the near future. Or some, or just to mean something to the citizens of Zal someday. But that's why it's not like it changes your value. I beg to differ. I understand the desire to be remembered. No life is more important than another, but they are. Zillion value, human value, it's all quite romanticised, isn't it? Tell a person they're inferior and protest because we as a species place inherent value on both ourselves and what we can give to the world. It's only natural. But what's natural isn't always right. It doesn't always define the truth. If all lives are truly equal, why do we take freedom away from criminals? Or because they take things from others? Because the criminals are people that lost their right to harm the innocent. So that needs reworking. I would say, because nobody has a right to harm the innocent. Lost their rights by harming the innocent, something like that. So fair to say there's already a bit of grey in your otherwise staunch beliefs. I don't know that locking somebody up and saying is the same as saying their life has no value, Zanime. You You can't mention exceptions saying that contradicts the point. That would be dull, yes. I'm not focused on whether your rejection of such outlying is wrong or right. I mean, it is wrong, to be sure, but such semantics are for bores. It's already precedent. Person you yourself agree on some level. So Velvet's a bit upset. Annoying, isn't it? One thing I envy about humans, they can lie and lie repeatedly with every trace of compunction. So, Zulians are unable to tell even a mere emotional lie. Even if it means we have to stay silent, and the truth's also much worse when we must speak it aloud. The human concept of hypocrisy is wholly unfamiliar with us. We might say one thing but act... That we might say one thing but act in a manner otherwise is an idea Zulians would consider nonsensical if outright baffling. We can't do it. We cannot deny our true natures regardless of how wise or misguided they may be. So you just kill someone you thought was beneath you? It's a silly use of one's time. Now, ask me to put down a drain on society to save someone actively elevating it. But you're basing your entire belief on how you perceive reality. Yeah, but we've only got our perceptions, so I don't think that that's necessarily true. And who are you to decide which is worth more than the other? But everybody does that. I'm going to stay silent. I don't have anything to say. What about those who need help with value later? Potentially to do with quantifier. I like to assume one can tell when to reserve a life and one is bringing emotions into their decisions. So Velvet's not very impressed. It comes out that you're nothing but a burden to society, would you still be inclined to say all this? Of course. The best way to embrace this Strauss principle is to adopt the philosophy that we should do all we can to better Zal. If the time comes when I need to put down my life to save my betters or even just to elevate them, I'll make my peace with it. So for someone probably living a lofty life far from the suffering of others, I stood up from a seat. You wouldn't even help a crying child if you thought you couldn't make a difference. I suppose you're about to be right about something this cycle. She's not very nice. Okay. And there's a shield. Pink translucent Zala. I prep my Zala for whatever you're going to throw at me. I was expecting another mental spell, but let me say I expect one willing to go fist first into a situation. Drop your damn shit. I don't think she's going to do that, Velvet. You are trying to punch her. I was only meant to deflect the blow. I didn't take you as someone strong enough to get your fist stuck inside. I'm not going to lift a gift dragoon in its mouth. If promises not to attack, will you let her go? Whatever. Good call. I was in a small sparkling red dust of stuff that sells out floating the ground. Back to waiting for a seat. I won't put that much stock in my words or your inability to harm me. Just I never see each other again, so try and think of this as a learning experience. If I inherit Lady Xena's title, you can bet I'll have laws preventing you from sacrificing the innocent for the greater good. Well, I hope it doesn't come to that. I hate to see progress throttled in such a way. Next stopping at Romanceable, next stop at Hickory Island. Departing, please make sure you have all of your belongings prepared to depart by XT device, which will be the teleporter that we did earlier. Arriving Hickory Island in less than 45 minutes. Thank you for riding Zamori Airlines. Looks like that's my cue. It's a pleasure talking to you too. May your lives be fulfilling. Cuts and Blood had vanished entirely. Damn that woman. So Velvet seems like she's a bit of an idealist. Zanime, I don't know if she's going to return as a character. It seems like a very utilitarian kind of person. Very different, very much a, you're only worth saving if you contribute to society kind of way. Life has no inherent value kind of perspective. So interesting. Despite the journey being more stressful than intended, the duration of the trip was calm. And visiting the Matriarch was almost disappointingly mundane. Later was to buy some dragoons. More willing to sell you, said details without being prompted. Ride back was quiet. Feel the urge to sleep returning. Someone familiar crossed our path. Ah, Marixa. Going somewhere. We can stay here and chat for a bit if you'd like. Any other cyclone I might have. Too many things to learn and prepare for perhaps next time. Besides, I want to slow you down from wherever you are going. Alright, see you around. Well, what do you know? So will I. Later then. Or so I will. Head to bed. Footsteps in the hallway passing your door. Yeah, let's find out. Axay. Oh, yes, from earlier. Kind of late to be walking around. It's never late when it's me. Don't humans have quicker cycles? Maybe our internal clock is synced up with Earth's 24-hour cycle. Hey, want to sleep with me? Yeah, you do you. I like this first one. I was last seen falling down the stairs because she was too tired, but no, you do you. She walked to stroll off without walking back. Nothing left to do but head to your bed. Long last, you're able to lie down. We do seem to spend a lot of time sleeping, frankly. Daylight did not deter your urge to close your eyes and drift off to sleep. Knocking woke us up from you there. Trading this cycle. I'll be right there. Wait for my farm at 15. Training. Okay. Down to the lobby. Conversation going on a few yards away. Liz was facing away from you, looking to the eyes of the other. Okay. Afraid so, Lady Cleese. I would not defy the woman were I in your shoes. As you were. So not very friendly, it would seem. Yeah. Whatever are you playing at? Combine both by surprise. Somebody with pink hair. So, more new characters being introduced. And she knows us, even if we don't know her. He did the same. Okay, this is a guy, apparently. Very interest seeming to fade as soon as it arrived. She looked back at you. Training. What bother? I want to do something else! Indulging the winning privilege to know the name of. It's rubbish. Need a hug, it could be worse. An Easterner. Well, we're not going to be racist and we're not going to be quite this desperate. It could be worse. Things could be worse. Fair response. Let's get it over and done with. We dare not be late. So everybody's here. We're all leaving the castle. Teleport to the airship and begin the flight to the farm. After Shaman draws Marcus up very rudely, I should dumb enough to leave on Dragoon. Chances you could hear the conversation. I suppose she has her reasons. Yeah, Velvet needs some impulse control. Don't think that's a real word. Nice to meet you. Why didn't I see you earlier? I was preoccupied with some preliminary work. Let me know if you need a guide around the castle. This is Xjena. In a cycle getting to know the place, so to be in good hands. I really hope you got some sleep. Fighting will be hell for you otherwise. I got a little bit. Please tell me we have a healer on board. So Naxi knows some healing spells. That will be having much fun if I end up needing to use them though. Why don't you join us, Clanice? So this is everybody, I'm thinking. She's paying attention but not joining the conversation. Scarce fun to be had in dodging a placement test. Think of it as a way to show off what you've got. Or rather impress those who judge me by wisdom, not strength. I'm not cut out for fighting. Am I the only one here who has actual experience fighting? Nah, I've been through my fair share. What about lawyer? Dipped your toes in a bit of bloodshed on the way to the top. Now why would I tell? I'm thinking that is. We've arrived. For silent the instant they heard Xuna's voice. Get off my airship. So I'm going to finish this kind of scene and then wrap it up for today. This is just to start it out. I mean, I'm impressed that there's quite a lot of content and I seem to get asked to make some kind of decision which will change how things play out fairly regularly. I can see going back and trying different approaches to the start to see how it plays out differently. And that's what you want in a visual novel, right? Like, or at least it's what I want in a visual novel. What I don't want is to be sitting there clicking and only get 3 or 4 choices. And the rest of it's just reading, because there's not a lot of replayability in that. I like being able to define my character in different ways, so you can play like a hothead, brash type character, or a more thoughtful type character, or a compassionate type character, or a flirty type character, or whatever you want to do. You can play it multiple different ways, multiple different opportunities, and you know that creates more value from the game if there are different ways to engage with it. I feel. So we all teleport to the ground below, Xena included. No one seemed to know what to expect. So we've got, this is clearly like the Sergeant Major type. Sorry sight of scrawny schoolgirls. So this is Yaxata. You can maybe to say this a little more manageable. So yes, very much a Sergeant Major type. You will not fight to kill, and you most certainly will not take your frustration out on my dragoons. Well, that seems reasonable. Like, you know, there's no point attacking an animal because you're upset about something. To even come close to beating me will be a miracle for your low-level meat shields, but the only way to officially road from these training games will be better yourselves from the sorry state that is your present existence. You may of course refuse to come back out to the side or when you progress to the Matriarch. Take that as you will. That's a reasonable question to ask. Do we always have to come here together? Nope. I was whipping you all into capable fighters. You can come alone during the working hours in the group. It means you can come at any time during the waking hours, be it with a group or alone. Now, show me what you brutal bunch of people are capable of. You can read the naughty words. Yeah. About time. Yeah. Velvet needs, as I said, to learn a little bit of restraint. Yep. The shouting distracted you from seeing how Velvet ended up crashing right in front of the group again. Tumbling even. That. Don't just do that. Yes, obviously her boasts are not without merit. Please consider your actions more carefully. So turn-based dance, get over here and do your worst. Make me come over there and you'll all regret it. She's legit. I have a plan if you all care to indulge in it. But the plan didn't help. She beat us all handily. Training session is over, there's only one thing left to do. Go home. Okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. Your plan was sound, conceptual anyway, you just lack the strength to execute it. Some of you lack the Zala needed to be helpful at all. You have plenty of opportunity to try this again, just make sure you learn something every time. Well, dispel dangers of terrorists and follow them right for slaughter. Sure, that doesn't happen. So at this stage, I am kind of wondering, like, how did they pick the half a dozen of us if we don't know how to fight and, you know, like, all the rest of it? But I knew I was all prepared to fight, but to this degree. At least you have an excuse. Well, stuff happens, so they say. I'm so tired, because that's our principal character trait, is falling asleep. You would have had no trouble contending with Kickstarter, Lady Xjena. Moved ahead to look at you with an ambiguous demeanour. No. No trouble at all. Nothing else was said during the trip back to the castle. I had plans to figure out a schedule for myself, but a nap might not be such a bad idea after all. My Zala is spent. I feel we've all become stronger for it, but at what cost? Still that Lady Xjena. I do believe she views me as ill-prepared. She'll know my worth soon enough. Glenys is, you know, ambitious. Investigations will have to resume next cycle. I crave my bed's loving embrace. That's a very florid way of saying things. Yeah, my bed will be twice as loving to you. You are speaking my language. You are speaking. Seems the two of us have quite a bit to learn about fighting. Perhaps we'll be stronger for it next time we spar. Until then, next time. Thinking for myself later. Decided to head back to your room before you passed out on the floor. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to save it there. So there's a fast save, there's record dream, there's dream drop, there's stats. I don't know if it's stats of... We've got a Zala level of 1, we've got a little bit of inquisitive pragmatism and confidence coming up. No ruthlessness or wisdom appearing just yet. Not visibly anyway, but you can actually see the bars are changing. So we're a bit pragmatic, we're quite confident, and we're quite inquisitive, which is probably because we went exploring. We have not yet demonstrated any wisdom, kindness, or ruthlessness. the past. So you've got back, skip, the past, which I assume allows you to do, unless you view stuff, and you can save games, which I will be doing. So that's, what's that, the first 45 minutes or so of Women of Zal. It looks good. If you're a visual novel kind of person, it looks like a well-executed one. It's got nice art, there's plenty of characters, it gives you choices to make, it's got actual character metrics that develop and will unlock choices. Not that we've seen a lot of that yet, but I think at the moment a lot of the choices you're getting to make are about what kind of person you are, and will drive things later. It is still in early access, as I said, so the game is not a wholly complete, but you can pick it up on Steam if you're interested and check it out. Or you can follow it so you can know like how it's progressing towards completion. But I like the art style, I like the design. It looks a very encouraging start to the game, and I'm keen to check out more at a later date. But that is it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and catch you the next time I